Hey, what's going on, guys? Glad you can make it. Welcome to Ganbatte Volume 3. Looks like we got a pretty good turnout this time, so let's check it out. All right, we're here with Scoreboy, Ian, with the S13 hatch that's super battle ready. Can you tell us a little bit about your car?
It is a S13 hatch, obviously, with a fully built SR20, forged bottom end, built top end, fully caged car, tube front end, just a bunch of stuff, origin body kit, fiberglass bits and pieces here and there.
Nice. How much boost are you running?
Right now it's on low boost actually. Since I have a small wastegate in it, I get really bad boost leak or boost creep. So we're sitting at, remember he said it's 16 at 7,000 RPM.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
So what, like mid 300s?
350.
Yeah.
To the wheels, yeah. Oh yeah, mid 350, yeah.
T28?
It is a T3 rear housing. It's just a generic ball bearing turbo.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So what kind of parts you got on the bottom end?
Bottom end is CP pistons, eagle rods, ACL bearings, and the machining was done by an old like hot rod shop that won't touch 4 cylinders anymore after my engine.
Nice.
Yeah, so they were like, this was the last engine they're gonna do, and they machined it really good. And honestly, like I slapped all the bearings in. Oh, and the crank was cut and polished in Colorado, so that got shipped out. So it's all, they pre-fit everything for me. I just had to assemble everything and put everything back together.
Is there a shop that specializes in that in Colorado, or
it's just whatever those hot rod guys wanted. Like
Oh,
they do like big
was?
V12, like old crazy stuff that makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, but.
Nice. How about the top end?
Top end. Yeah, BC springs, retainers, HKS step 2 cams, and a step 1 cam. So it's super choppy down if it's cold, but it idles really well. So.
Nice. So obviously this is a pretty much purpose-built drift car. So what do you got suspension-wise?
Suspension-wise is super basic actually. In the front, it's a standard thing that they would do in like Japan, a cut and shut knuckle, just simple angle mod. I have actually a stock S13 rack still in here. Says coilovers are stance coilovers.
How do you like those?
I bought them used because they're better than my $200 coilovers. It stepped up a little bit, but honestly, it was a night and day difference, even being used coilovers.
Yeah, senses are pretty good.
Yeah, and they're baller coilovers that I got for a good deal, so I'm like, okay with it.
Can't complain.
Yeah, I really can't.
So where do you take it to drive at?
So recently we
I don't know the only racetrack we have here.
we had the one racetrack. We have one in Tucson that I go to often, Musselman. We do California often. So we go to Willow Springs. So we do Horse Thief, Streets of Willow out there. But I still want to go to like NorCal, Vegas, and Texas and do all those events also. Yeah.
Obviously you had a little bit of a run in here, you were telling me.
Yeah.
Got in a fight with the wall.
Yeah, it wasn't even a year of finishing this car. I hit a wall. But luckily it was a super easy hit where it didn't mess the frame up in the front or anything. So
yeah, that's kind of what you get yourself into with a drift car, right? Like it's part of the game.
It's a part of the game, honestly, and it was all my fault. Like I knew my rear tire was so the whole reason why I hit the wall was all my fault, because I knew my rear tire was leaking, but I just kept on filling it up. Whatever, it'll be all right. I'll just burn the tire before I even worry about it. Sure shit, like the rear tire DB'd it as I was initiating towards the wall because I'm stupid. So I throw it towards the wall and then go the other way for the corner. And once I chucked it the other way towards the wall, it stuck. I pressed the brake, I pulled the e-brake. I was like, nope, it's not stopping, and then it hit it. And luckily, I still had the same radiator and everything, intercooler from that hit, and everything was still solid, so.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, lucked out.
Yeah. That's why I have power brakes in my car now. I used to be on manual brakes, and after that event, I put power brakes back into it, and it's way better.
Yeah, I mean, you're not saving a whole lot of weight going to manual brakes anyway, right?
No, not really. It's just the booster. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And honestly, weight in this, I don't really care about. It's more of just reliability, because at the end of the day, drifting is all about just being on the tracks and not working on your car. But I built an SR 240, so
Yeah.
that was where I messed up.
So you've been driving it for about a year then?
This is going to be my second year with the car being drivable. Yeah.
That's pretty good for an SR, honestly, because most of the SRs I've seen built, it's like 6 months and it's back apart again.
That's why I chose that machine shop specifically, because they went into a lot of detail when they were machining and measuring everything, because all the clearances, I had specific clearances that I wanted. They got everything to a T, and it was perfect the way that they set everything up.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So, and then all I did was pick the engine up, put the crank in there, put the pistons, slap everything back together, and it was. So far, it's been good. Knock on wood.
And it's a shame that they didn't want anybody else to.
I think I was the reason
Send them
why
work.
they don't want to, because I was so like picky on a bunch of stuff. It was.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you got to do with these motors, like all those little differences.
You have to take care of it. You have to put, the thing is, you have to put money into them for them to be good. And like this was, in my opinion, this is still budget for an SR. Like you can do a Neo head, or you can do like the crazy
Right.
S15 with variable valve timing and stuff like that. Like this is as basic as a quote-unquote baller SR setup.
Yeah, because you can go crazy with the bottom end too. You can get the crank journals machine, like GTIR with the
Yeah.
extra oil channels and everything.
Yeah. You can go super crazy on SRs, but for like a super basic, quote-unquote reliable setup, that's where I want to be at.
You mentioned Copy Mart.
Oh,
Mention Copy Mart.
shopcopymart.com. This guy, right here.
Sponsored by Copy Mart.
By the time this video's out, the name might change. There might be another rebrand. So just watch out. We'll keep you updated on that.
Copy Mart / Copy Style /
Copy slaps. Joey stickers next. I don't know.
All right, man. Thanks for showing us your car. It's pretty awesome.
Thank you, sir.
See you later. All right, now we're here with Aaron, Mr. AZ FD-RX7.
Yep.
With his just immaculate FD. Tell us a little bit about your build.
Well, so I bought the car about 4 years ago, and this is before the prices went through the roof. Found it from a guy in Vegas who had beat up the engine, beat up the transmission, and I picked it up for $9,000.
Dude,
Yeah, which is like unheard
that's
of.
ridiculous now.
And after about 4 years of a lot of love, a lot of weekends, rebuilding various things, I finally built the car exactly how I want. So for those people who aren't familiar with RX-7s or with FD body RX-7s, there's a lot of little custom bits that, like the laundry list is very extensive and long. So it is still a twin turbo rotary. It's still the stock sequentials from the factory from Mazda. The whole idea with this build was OEM plus.
Okay.
So the front bumper is actually a Japanese 99 bumper. So this was the actual factory part.
Nice.
Various things like the wheels were based on the OEM style wheels. The interior bits are all carbon fiber, but they're all the original molds, so it has an OEM plus feel for the whole car.
Right. Yeah, I totally get that. And as far as the engine, did you have somebody build it, or did you dive into that yourself?
Great question. So with rotaries, there's really only one guy in Arizona who builds them, and his wait list is very, very long. So when I had the engine rebuilt, I sent it out of state. So the most common question I get is it going to have a peripheral port or like bigger ports, because there's no valve train like in a piston engine. So I kept the stock ports, but I had bigger apex seals, bigger water seals, and then elongated, basically bigger water passageways. And then all the internals were polished as well, because by design these inject oil, which can create carbon buildup.
Right.
So the polished internals help reduce that carbon buildup from sticking on the rotor housings.
Yeah, because they're chrome, right?
No, they're just, they polish them out so that way the carbon won't build up as easily. And one of the fun thing that a lot of folks don't realize, in the owner's manual for rotary cars, is it tells you to redline the engine, to drive it all the way to the max, because it actually helps blow out that carbon. So I sent off the nickname is called the keg. So I sent off the keg.
Oh, right, just the
Because it's
like,
about as big,
long box
so it's
assembly.
about as big as like a small keg.
Yeah.
Send that off to the machine shop, but everything else on this car has been done by me.
Yeah, and I've heard the machining process can be quite expensive too, because all the tooling is just different than like all your
Right.
standard engines, because obviously
Exactly.
there's no
So
pistons, no valves.
there's very few people who do it in the country. Mazda now has reopened their rotary engine production facility in Hiroshima again, which is great for keeping these alive, but if you go online to YouTube, Rob Dahm is a very prolific RX-7 guy.
Oh yeah, we follow him.
Exactly. So he has started machining his own parts and doing a lot of scans, and he's very, very open and very friendly about just giving information to other people who want to learn. So if you do want to jump into a rotary, it's very scary for some people, like, oh, what do I do? I've heard this, I've heard that rumor.
Yeah, I feel like he's definitely made like big steps into like getting rid of that fear people have of diving into something like this, because it's just the lack of information.
It's
that's
different.
on the internet.
It's just different.
Yeah.
And what people don't understand or what's different is scary.
Yeah.
But aside from that, it's the FDRX7. Even if you do an engine swap on it, let's say you do like a K series or the heaven forbid an LS.
Hey, we're in the same boat with that.
But even then, the car is very tiny inside. My knees are almost in the dash. I have about 2 fingers of space above my head. If you have a slick top, you get about 1 more inch of head space. But even then, it is a fun handling car. If you rest on basic coilovers and then you do some sway bars, some good tires and good wheels, it's a go-kart. It's a lot of fun. You don't need a ton of power. It weighs 2,800 pounds. It's only 400 pounds more than a Miata.
Right, I mean, they made the Miata, so they got to have a good idea of what they were doing.
Exactly. A lot of aluminum, but I will say this much. The sheet metal is so thin on these cars that you look at it funny and it's going to dent. So like when I got the car, it was like Morse code down the doors, and so I had to pay a lot of money to have a paintless dent removal come and get rid of it because the sheet metal is so thin.
Also, it's not repainted?
Well, yes and no. So from the doors back, it is all factory paint.
Okay.
Granted, I've had it paint correction and ceramic coating, but when I did the 99 conversion,
yeah, you kind of had to.
I had to repaint the front. So the Elite Automotive Finishes in Mesa did the paint job.
They did great work.
Exactly. And he used to own RX-7s, so he's totally familiar with it. So when they resprayed it, I had new buckets, so they resprayed the bumper, the headlight covers, the hood, and then they blended it through the fenders. Now what Elite did for matching is, although there's one paint code for it, there's 4 different metallic options for the flake.
Right.
So they went and sprayed all 4 and matched exactly to my car. So
and that's what sets them apart, because other shops won't do that. They'll just grab whatever comes out of their paint system and throw it on.
So they match the metallic paint, so that way when you look at it, it's seamless. And because I still have like rock chips and scratches because I do drive it almost every weekend. And I take it up to the canyons, up to Tortilla Flat, just for fun. I drive it almost every weekend, so I'm like, yeah, it's pretty. But it's kind of dirty here and there.
It's driver pretty.
It's driver pretty. I am anal about cleaning it, but even then, it's my dream car, and this car, rotary specifically, you need to drive it.
Yeah.
If they don't like sitting for too long. They get angry at you. That's when it gets expensive.
So what do you have as far as like your suspension setup? You said it handles pretty well.
Yeah. So as far as like touching the ground, I have a custom one-off wheels for my car from a company called AirTech. I'm running 18 by 9 in the front, 18 by 10 in the rears with Michelin Pilot Super Sports.
Nice.
And so they're really sticky, especially when they get a lot of heat into them. They just keep grabbing.
Yeah, that's what I have on our car on the front, the PS4s.
Yep. Yeah, they're great. Michelin makes a great compound. And I'm doing like 275, 35s in the rear. So it's a pretty wide wheel, but I don't have to roll my fenders.
Oh, nice.
It's about as wide as I can go with my offset in the rear. So that's just touching the ground. Then I also have full undercarriage bracing from the various manufacturers, and then sway bars, front and rear matching from Racing Beat. But as far as the suspension itself, is Tane Flexi coilovers.
Oh, nice. You don't hear a lot about Tane anymore. They kind of fell off. All you hear about is BC and
BCs, Olin, Stans, Fortunes. A lot of the drift guys like those kind of stuff.
We have Tanes on our 350Z as well, and we love them. They're still great. They were the original.
Well, the price point is great.
Yeah.
So it's a quality coilover. What makes mine I went a little further was I did the EDFC Active Pro.
Oh, nice.
So for those
dampening.
Yeah. So if those who aren't familiar with it, it's like I have a 25-way adjustable on mine, and so there's little stepper motors on top, and it uses the G-force sensor and GPS to monitor your. So if you're diving, your front's going to get stiffer. If you're accelerating, you don't get squat, it stiffens up the rear. If you're doing lateral movement, it's going to change from side to side. in addition to all your other suspension modifications that you've done. So your car's gonna be flat.
Yeah.
Now, the cool part is if you go to like the Tane Mono Sports, which is their highest level one, you can also adjust your rebound on the bottom. You can add motors for it too. So you can have dampening and rebound, full customization depending on your movement. You can have driver settings. So if you change out drivers, you just get in the car, press a button. Now it's for you for that setup. Or if let's say we wanted the setting for short track or long track, it's a really cool setup, but it doubles the price of your suspension.
Right. That's crazy. I didn't know they got that advanced with the EDFC nowadays. That's impressive.
Originally it was just dial, but now with
it
the
was just preset basically.
With the Active Pro, they added GPS and the dynamic of the motion sensor, the G-force sensor, the lateral sensor. So my next project is not going to be Japanese. It's actually going to be a TVR Cerberus. So if anybody who's played Gran Turismo, that's really where most Americans have only seen TVRs.
Yeah,
that
pretty much.
top
I was
tier.
gonna say Gran Turismo.
So I'll be one of the first few Americans to import one. That'll be here in a month. And
so you actually got everything already moving?
It's gonna be here in about a month. So it's the crazy part is it weighs less than this car. So the Cerberus is only 2,400 pounds with a 4.2 liter flat plane V8 with like an F1 style bottom. So it's like a Miata with 3 times the horsepower.
Yeah.
So it'll be a lot of fun, but that'll be driving around the car meets, and it'll be the only one in Arizona and one of the first few in all of North America.
Wow. Dude, that's awesome. We look forward to seeing that when you get it all nice and ready. Well, thanks for sharing with us, man.
Thank you.
All right, we're here with Kyle and his badass battle-ready S13 coupe. Tell us a little bit about your car, man.
Well, yeah, S13 coupe. 13 front, kitted, pink headlights, actually painted.
Awesome.
Yeah. 1J swap.
You got light bar in there?
Yeah, it's a light bar.
How's that for driving?
Well, since it's pink, like when you look at it, it's bright, but on the road, it's not that bright.
Okay.
Yeah. But if I take those off, yeah, it's bright as hell.
Yeah. Awesome. So what kind of kit you got? Obviously you got a wide body going on.
Yeah, it's a Urus Type 3 kit, and then the Origin style hood.
Okay.
Has 55 mil front fenders and 85 mil roof fenders.
Damn.
Wide.
so she's pretty thick then.
Yeah.
Nice. What size? What's the spec on your wheels?
The fronts are 70 by 10s and the rears are 70 by 11s.
Nice. Do you drift it at all? It looks pretty ready to go.
No, yeah, that's what it's built for. Street track.
Nice. You want to pop in the hood? You say you got a 1J?
Yeah. It's a little dirty. Came like literally from a track event in Cali like last week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Dude, I love the V-mount setup.
Yeah.
What kind of turbo are you running?
It's a whole set, HY35 from Cummins.
I've actually been thinking of throwing that on my car too.
Yeah.
How is that?
It's cheap. Like it's only like $300. It looks big. It's actually pretty small and it moves super quick. Yeah.
So like how much power are those good for?
I think people push it close to like 5.
Oh wow. How's this been as far as like reliability on the track and everything?
Oh, 100% reliability. I beat the hell out of this car.
Nice.
Redlining all the time. First, second, third, yep.
Is it pretty much a stock engine, or do you have anything built at all?
No, yeah. The 1J is complete stock. All I did was just turbo. I have a standalone ECU and then bigger injectors.
That's pretty simple. That's kind of my philosophy too with most of my builds. Just keep the long block stock, and then just add stuff to it. So if it ever blows up, you just yank it out, throw another one in, ready to go.
I don't want to know because JDs are getting expensive.
Yeah, that's true nowadays. What are they, like 10 grand now?
The 2Js are going up there, but like the 1Js, people still sell them for about 4 to 5.
Okay.
Which is
They used to be like 2, 3.
Yeah.
Man.
And I got the long block for 1,000, so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's a big plus. So you said it's a full purpose-built drift car, so what's your suspension setup?
Right now I've got K-Sport coilovers with upgraded front springs, and then the rest of the suspension is all GK Tech. Drop knuckles, front and rear, all arms.
K-Sport, keeping it local.
Yep.
Same thing we have in our car.
Nice.
Good stuff. And the GK Tech, how's your experience with those? I've heard they're pretty good as far as like drifting parts and everything like that.
Yeah, like they're cheap, but they're actually like a really good company, and when I had like a problem or whatever, it's like just message them on either email or DM, and they instantly get back to me and get basic parts. Or like they if I have like a bearing go bad, they send me the link. Like, oh hey, like you can buy it from me or basic parts. Like, okay. But other than that, yeah, it sticks to the views the whole time. It's not bad.
So is that like the full angle kit, like a Wise Fab, or more or less like stock replacement stuff?
Oh no, yeah, it's all custom drop knuckles, front and rear, and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
What color is the paint? Is it off anything particular, or is it just like something you mixed up?
It's the BMW Twilight Purple.
Oh, nice.
From
I
the
thought it looked familiar.
individual models. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, this whole car is garage built. I painted it myself, did the kit myself, did the whole engine swap.
Nice, that's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
You even do the bodywork yourself, paint and everything?
Yeah, bodywork sucks.
I imagine you got purple paints all over your garage.
Kind of. But yeah, like basically I did all the welding myself to it, except for like the aluminum. I had my friend do the aluminum, but all the steel I did.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for sharing your build with us.
Yeah.
Hope to see you out at the Wild Horse.
Yeah,
sometime.
the next one I'll be at is at the Easter Drift. I think it's April 16th or 17th.
Right on.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, thanks for sharing, man.
Yeah. Thanks.
Alright, we're here with Anthony and his badass Mazda Speed 3. I love the look you got going on, man. It's like a subtle like race car, GTM kind of look.
Yeah, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about it.
So right now it's just a Mazda Speed Gen 2 stock turbo, but bolt-ons, full suspension, obviously you see the 10 wheel, definitely tuned. Shout out my boy Eric from Java Tune. And yeah, just a fun daily driver. Gets me from point A to point B, but I mean, go fast at it while, driving.
Nice. So you said you're still on the stock turbo, still running like 15 psi-ish?
Actually right now I'm running 20.
Nice.
So that gave me about 300 wheel torque. So it gets me moving.
Yeah, that's pretty good. How's the torque steer on these? That's a lot of torque for a front-wheel drive.
So it's a little bit better on the Gen 2. So it's not too bad. But with traction control off, because I just turned off 2 weeks ago, it feels really raw. And I mean, for me, I can control it. It's something that like you kind of have to get used to, like once you start driving the car itself.
Yeah. So what do you have as far as like your bolt-ons and stuff like that?
So obviously,
It's
biggest
still a 2.3, right?
Yeah, it's 2.3.
Direct injected?
Yeah, direct injected. So in terms of like actual power mod, I just have my short ram intake, my bigger top mount intercooler, throttle body, got my injector seals injectors freshened up with new injector seals, and yeah, full exhaust. And I think that's about it actually.
Nice. So what's your suspension setup like?
So right now I'm on Torque lowering springs, so they're about like an inch and a half drop all around.
That's perfect for a daily.
Yeah, perfect for a daily. I have both front and back sway bars.
Give me your titty!
Adjustable struts for Corksport itself also. And I think both front and rear traction bar.
I'm kidding!
So, keeps the torque steer kind of like in control.
Right. Well, love the look, man. Thanks for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Alright, I think that about wraps it up for this Ganbatte. Had a pretty good turnout this time, and talked to some pretty awesome builds. A lot of, garage do-it-yourselfers, which is awesome to see. It's what we do, so it's awesome to see that culture still alive and growing. See you guys next time, probably in another 3 months for the next Ganbatte, Volume 4.